Today we are out at the Granby Land Trust's 210-acre Dismal Brook Wildlife Preserve in North Granby. This spectacular property features a variety of habitat types, including marshes, mature and young forests, fields, ponds, and ridgeline views. Across from the Dismal Brook Wildlife Preserve are two more Granby Land Trust properties, the Kramer Preserve and the Van Vleck Family Preserve, which when combined add 68 additional adjacent protected acres. The beautiful Dismal Brook Wildlife Preserve was made possible through an incredibly generous gift of this property in 2020 by longtime Granby Land Trust board member and dedicated environmentalist Jamie Gamble. In addition to giving this property to the Land Trust, Jamie had a vision for the preserve. He wanted it to be preserved to protect the wildlife that lives on it and also offer an experience for human visitors that encourages a further appreciation of the natural world. In addition, he provided significant financial support so that the Land Trust could build and maintain the infrastructure that creates many of the property's very special places, such as the bridges, the historic cabin, and the birding platforms, and provide the means for the Land Trust to steward and take care of this land forever. The parking lot of Dismal Brook is located at 253 Loomis Street in North Granby, which has ample space to park multiple vehicles for group hikes. From the parking lot, you can already experience the diversity of the forest, as there are multiple tree species surrounding the lot, including shagbark hickories, hemlocks, maples, oaks, tulip poplars, and birches. This diversity in tree species sets the stage for the diversity of wildlife that can be found on this property. To begin, head over to the property kiosk where you will find the trail map as well as other information about the property. This property features 3.5 miles of trails, and the featured trail is just under 3 miles long. The featured trail begins by following the Yellow Blaze a short distance before taking a right to follow the short Green Blaze loop. Upon completion of this loop, continue straight to once again follow the Yellow Blaze. This Yellow Blaze takes you past the first observation platform and along Stevenson Field. At the fork, continue right to head to the second outlook point into North Marsh. From there, backtrack a short distance to then take a right over the bridge and then take a quick left onto the Yellow Red Blaze. This trail takes you along Dismal Brook and meets back up with the Yellow Blaze Trail. Follow the Yellow Blaze past the second viewing platform overlooking the South Marsh and continue uphill. Continue on the Yellow Blaze, passing the Red Trail, and eventually meeting back up with the Blue Trail. At the Blue Trail, turn right to follow the Blue Blaze along the Ridgeline Trail. The Blue Trail takes you past Glacier Cabin and back to Kramer Pond. Take the short Yellow Blaze Trail to the pond and then take the Orange Trail up and back to get views of Kramer Pond from above. Once finished at the pond, return downhill along the Yellow Blaze and turn right to cross over Dismal Brook once more. Follow the Yellow Blaze and stop at the Day Cemetery before continuing to Stevenson Field. To finish your hike, follow the Yellow Blaze back to the parking lot. The variety of trails in this preserve allow you to take longer or shorter hikes if you desire. Once done at the kiosk, follow the Yellow Blaze towards the short Green Blaze loop. This short loop takes you through a dense forest that encircles a vernal pool. During the early spring, this pool is home to a variety of frogs and other amphibians who use this pool to lay eggs and raise their young. Springtime is a great time to include this loop, as you will be treated to nature's symphony of spring sounds. As the summer progresses, the pool dries out, but the forest is still left with the lush green understory of vegetation. The forest here is dominated by large white pines as well as white oaks. These white oaks provide for a great food source through their acorns, which are desired by many wildlife species. White oak acorns have lower levels of tannic acid, which makes them easier to digest by wildlife such as turkeys, white-tailed deer, and squirrels. Like many of the properties in this area, there is evidence of previous logging activity, as is evident by the rotting stumps on the ground and the presence of double and triple trunk trees, such as this oak. Continue along the Green Blaze to get the full view of the vernal pool, and eventually meet back up with the Yellow Blaze where you began. Continuing straight on the Yellow Blaze will lead you to the first observation deck. This deck was constructed to provide clear views of North Marsh. This is a great location to see and hear a variety of birds throughout the year that forage and live in the marsh. Within the marsh, depending on the season, you'll hear a variety of species of birds, including yellow warbler, common yellow-throat warbler, gray catbird, song sparrows, cardinals, and bluebirds, among others. Once done at the observation deck, continue on the Yellow Blaze towards Stevenson Field. This small clearing offers home to 3 nesting boxes, which were installed as part of the Land Trust's Nest Box program. If you listen carefully, you may hear and see house wrens that have taken up residence in one of these boxes. Enjoy the wildflowers that grow in the field, the buzz of the bees, and the sounds of other insects taking advantage of this habitat. As you walk along the edge of the field, you will reach a bench in the northwest corner of the field that honors the longtime steward of this property, Olaf Stevenson. In addition to the bench tribute for Olaf, who loved this place very much, the field was named after him as well. His family, the Stevensons, have had a long association with this land, as Olaf's dad built a cabin near Kramer Pond in the early 1930s, and Olaf's daughter and son-in-law, Karen and Bob Saunders, now serve as the property's caretakers. At Olaf's bench, turn right to head toward the second viewing area, toward North Marsh. At this bench, be sure to scan the tops of the tree snags within the marsh to see if you can locate the red-shouldered hawks, which like to perch on them. Continue down the Yellow Blaze for a short distance before turning right to head down the trail towards a curved footbridge built to cross Dismal Brook. This bridge offers great views into the North Marsh to your right and the brook to your left. A bench, which honors Granby Land Trust board member Dave Emery, who invested a great deal of time and effort in building this preserve, is located just past the bridge, offering a good place to take a break, relax, and enjoy the sounds of the brook and view beautiful vistas looking northward into the marsh. From this bench, turn left onto the Yellow-Red Blaze to follow the trail along the brook. If you visit in late summer, you will likely see bright red native cardinal flowers blooming along the brook. These flowers are a favorite of the ruby-throated hummingbird, and if you sit and wait long enough, you may even be lucky enough to spot one drinking the nectar from these flowers. Continue following this trail, enjoying the sounds of the brook and the forest canopy above. This brook is home to a variety of birds, including Louisiana water thrush, belted kingfisher, a variety of warbler species, as well as gray catbirds and cardinals. The forest inclines to your right and is full of birches, maples, oaks, and hemlocks. And if you look closely at the forest floor, you may find a native plant in the orchid family that may be blooming during late summer. This is the rattlesnake plantain, which can be found throughout the forest and has a beautiful stalk of white flowers and speckled leaves. As the trail reaches a small clearing, continue straight past the rock to continue onto the Yellow Blaze Trail. This large rock at the intersection features a plaque that honors Jamie Gamble for his vision, commitment to Granby, love of nature, and generosity in preserving this remarkable place. The Yellow Trail remains flat for a short distance, offering views into the South Marsh to your left and into the dense forest to your right. The dense vegetation within the marsh also makes it home to many warbler species in the summer months, making this a good location to catch glimpses of migrating warblers in the spring and fall. The water within the marsh also provides habitat for various waterfowl species as well. The South Marsh is home to many red-winged blackbirds in the spring and summer who nest in the cattails and reeds within. Once done at the birding platform, continue uphill towards the sound of flowing water, which once powered a mill on this property. This water is making its way into the South Marsh from Kramer Pond above, which is located at the top of the hill. Peer through the forest to your right and you will get your first glimpses of Glacier Cabin. You may continue straight to Kramer Pond, however following the featured trail, the pond is saved for the end of the hike. Continue right at the fork up the Blue Blaze Trail for a short distance, then head back to the Yellow Blaze Trail. We will stop at the Glacier Cabin toward the end of the featured trail hike on our return. Continuing on the Yellow Blaze will take you through a forest that transitions from an older forest with oaks and hemlocks dominating into a younger forest that is full of young birch saplings. This dense forest has a much more open canopy that still has large oaks left in the canopy from previous logging activity. This area features many wet areas along the sides of the trails, creating a diverse forest. A careful eye while hiking may even spot a relic of the previous forests in New England. Small American chestnut trees can be seen growing low in the understory. These now miniature trees are shadows of the large dominant trees that once made up the majority of New England forests. Growing from the roots of the trees that once stood before them, the American chestnut is now considered functionally extinct, even though these small saplings still exist. Now the trees survive for a few years before being killed off by the blight that still lingers in the forests. Continue along the Yellow Trail, traveling through a wet mixed forest. At the fork, keep left to stay on the Yellow Trail, and follow a series of small hills and curves through the forest. At a small clearing in the canopy, keep right to stay on the Yellow Trail, and continue along the Yellow Trail until you reach the Blue Blaze Trail. Turn right to follow this trail along the ridgeline. This trail follows the top of the ridge that was visible from the yellow trail you walked along earlier, on the east side of Dismal Brook and the South Marsh. This ridgeline trail is covered on either side by mountain laurel, which makes it especially pretty in the spring when these large shrubs are in full bloom. Because the trail is on top of the ridge, this trail also offers nice views into the forest below. The dense mountain laurel provides good habitat for a variety of birds to forage for insects on the ground and within the shrubs, like this black-throated blue warbler. It is also common to see a variety of other forest birds such as tufted titmouse, scarlet tanager, and woodpeckers foraging in the trees as well. The Blue Trail ends by bringing you back to Glacier Cabin and Kramer Pond. The cabin was constructed in 1930 by Hilding Stevenson for West Hartford resident Robert Glacier, who used this property primarily as a summer retreat. Journey back in time and take a break on the bench and chairs on the front porch of the cabin and imagine what it must have looked like here in the mid-1900s, probably not that different from today. The Land Trust also has recently installed the Tales for Trails library on the front porch, featuring children's books with nature themes. This is a great place for a family to spend time, or maybe a grandparent with a grandchild, reading a book in this beautiful, quiet place with very limited cell service. One note, the books from this library are for visitors to enjoy while on the property. Please return to the library box when you are done, so that others might enjoy them as well. A short walk from the cabin will take you down to Kramer Pond. 2 Adirondack chairs offer a relaxing way to take in the breathtaking views of the pond. A beaver lodge is located almost in the middle of the pond, and if you're lucky, you may see the beavers hard at work gathering sticks for food nearby. Beavers are what's called an ecosystem engineer and a keystone species. As the beaver cut down and remove trees, they open up the canopy for more shrubs and new trees to grow. Many of these shrubs produce fruit and flower, providing food sources and nesting sites for birds and mammals. The work of beavers helps to create one of the most diverse habitats in the Northeast. This pond is home to wood ducks, which nest in the wood duck box the Granby Land Trust installed on the pond, cedar waxwings and kingbirds, which hunt insects over the water, kingfishers, American mink, black bear, and coyote, to name a few. You may even hear the calls of a red-shouldered hawk echoing over the pond as they live in the surrounding forest. Follow the short trail over the dam to head up the Orange Trail to the overlook point above, one of Jamie Gamble's favorite places. Benches are located in 2 places to allow for nice viewing of the pond. In late summer, native pickerelweed and lilies can be seen blooming in the pond, and these flowers are visited frequently by pollinators including bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds. When done enjoying the views from above, head back downhill the way you came to head back towards the dam and the Adirondack chairs. Continue downhill along the Yellow Blaze toward the observation deck overlooking South Marsh. Take another look back out in the marsh to see if there are any other species out and about that were not there before. The feature trail leads you back to the commemorative plaque for Jamie Gamble and turns right to cross over the property's other bridge. This bridge offers more interesting views of Dismal Brook on either side, and the South Marsh on the right. Check out the log on the north side of the bridge, and if you're lucky, you might just see painted turtles sunning themselves. Continue a little ways until you reach the Day Cemetery on your left. This family burial site includes 5 gravestones, with one dating back to 1795. More information about this burial plot and its history can be found on the Granby Land Trust website, courtesy of research done by the Salmon Brook Historical Society. The Day family farmed this land and operated a mill here, and possibly a tavern as well, starting in the 1700s. Continue along the Yellow Trail back through Stevenson Field. Turn right to follow the way you came, back towards the first observation deck. Be sure to look and listen for birds foraging in the forest surrounding this trail. This dense forest is home to a variety of species, which forage both in the undergrowth and the canopy above. Head back up to the parking lot to finish your hike. That will be all. We hope you enjoyed this hike through the beautiful and diverse Dismal Brook Wildlife Preserve. This is a great spot to observe the diversity of plants and animals located in southern New England. When you visit this preserve, be thankful for Jamie Gamble's vision and generosity, and be sure to leave no trace so that this beautiful property can be enjoyed by all that visit.